Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and welcome back to another video for EVE Online. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Humble Venture. Now last week you may remember I put out a video about the Heron and how this humble little explorer can actually have some quite nasty fangs to it. This inspired me to also talk about the Venture. Yes, that little ore mining ship that people like to fly in high sec and, go and mine a few rocks as a calm little afternoon activity. You can also use it for mining other players for both their minerals and the additional salt that you get when you shoot them with this. Now, this is just one of those fun little ships. Is it the best PvP ship out there? No, but it does have the added advantage of very few people expect it to be a PvP ship. This is that good old, hello there fellow miner, I'm also a miner kind of meme. You can fit a Venture for combat. You can slide up alongside another miner, pretend that you're about to start shooting the rock, and then lock them down and shoot them instead. So this video is meant kind of, on a one hand, a public service announcement for all of the miners out there, just to be aware that a cute little yellow Venture dropping in on your mining belt might not be as friendly as it looks. On the other hand, it could be a nice little tip and piece of advice for some of you to go out there and have some fun and farm some salt at the same time, because believe me, this is one of those ships that I personally think it's great fun to fly, and any good EVE player will sit there and go, okay, yeah, I got blown up by a Venture, that's hilarious, it's my own fault for making assumptions. But unfortunately, there is a not insignificant part of the community that does get really salty about this kind of stuff, and I say screw it, teach them how to play EVE, right? Anyway, so if you enjoy this video, if it makes you laugh at all, please hit like, drop a sub, you know the usual ways to support the channel. Plus, if you want to go the extra mile to support financially, I've got my Patreon page, my PayPal tip jar, and now you can even join this channel with channel memberships for some cool exclusive perks for as little as £2 a month. Really helps me out and could get you guys some cool stuff as well. Anyway, enough of the self-promotion and shilling, let's jump right in to talking about the Banana Bomber. Now, the concept of the Banana Bomber, or Battle Venture as some call it, is really quite straightforward. You are going to warp into a mining belt, you are going to sidle up alongside a fellow miner, quote-unquote, and then you're going to rip them to shreds and farm whatever salt you get. Now, brief warning on that. Whilst most EVE players will lose their Venture to this and go, you know what, that's hilarious. I made an assumption that a Venture was a safe thing to have nearby. I was wrong. That's on me. However, there are going to be some players who get ridiculously salty about this, and that is worth bearing in mind. Do expect people to get angry at you doing this. Whether or not that affects your ability to do it, that's entirely up to you. For me, I say screw it, you're teaching someone a lesson. People need to learn this kind of stuff in EVE. I would rather someone like me does it, and then if they get angry, I can say, well look, this is what you could do to survive, and I will engage in those conversations. Not everyone will. I would rather educate, and sometimes education comes at the end of a gun barrel, right? This is EVE. Anyway, the basis of this fit is pretty set in stone, but there is a lot of versatility in regards to the high slots. We'll talk about that in a moment. So the mid slots, first of all, we need some propulsion. 1 meganewton YS8 compact Afterburner. Compact is cheap, it's easy to fit, you can have low skills. You want some propulsion because we need to be able to hold the target in position and stop them warping away. We want to also be able to quickly move across the asteroid belt. Be aware that if you warp into an asteroid belt and then you make a beeline for your target, if warping into the asteroid belt doesn't spook them, they just kind of go, oh, it's a Venture, it's probably fine. You making a beeline for them, that may spook them. What I like to do is to actually aim at an asteroid that's approximately in their vicinity and then hard burn into them once I'm close to that asteroid. Make it look like you're going for a nearby asteroid, and then when you're close enough, then you kind of swerve into them, you lock them down, and you hit them with a J5B Enduring Warp Scrambler. This is only warp strength 2, it's only got a 7.5 kilometer range. You could bling this out to something like a Caldari Navy Warp Scrambler. That will stop people warping away if they've got a warp core stabilizer fitted, for example, whereas here, if they've got the warp core stabilizer, fellow Venture will be able to run away. Bear that in mind. But again, Caldari Navy Warp Scrambler, very, very expensive. You are going to make this fit literally 5 times more expensive than it is just by fitting that one module. Whether it's worth it, that's up for you to decide. Our final mid slot is an X5 Enduring Stasis Webifier. Hitting them with the web after you've got the scram on them means that their Afterburner is not going to be very functional because they're webbed, micro warp drive won't work because they're scrammed, and they can't warp away either. Hit them with the scram first, then the web, because if you hit them with the web before you hit them with the scram, you can actually make it faster for them to warp away to safety, and you really, really don't want that. So scram, then web, right? Are we clear? Good. Finally then, our low slot is a small armor repairer too. We are going to need some form of tank on this ship. Normally you'd shield tank adventure, but we're using the mids for propulsion and tackle, so we're relying on an armor repairer. Admittedly, it is also propped up with a small Nanobot Accelerator 1 and a small Trimark armor pump 1, but bear that in mind. They are probably going to have drones. They are going to set those drones on you if they know they can't escape and hope that they can possibly do some damage to you. Make it so that you can survive that, right? It's as simple as that. Now, the high slots are where things get a little bit more funky and you can mess around with things. Now, here I've gone for a set of light Neutron Blaster 2s loaded with Void S. This only has an optimal range of 1.7 kilometers, so you need to be in real close to make this work. Again, why the web and scram are so useful. But that combined with our two Vespa 2s gives us a DPS of 145.5, and that's usually enough to out-DPS another Venture's tank. You should be able to chew through them, if slowly, whilst there's nothing they can do. Now, why I say this is modular is because, yes, here I've gone for the Light Neutron Blaster 2s alongside a small Hybrid Collision Accelerator 1. Absolutely, you could swap these out for Autocannon 2s and a Projectile Collision Accelerator, or beam pulse lasers and energy turret accelerator, or whatever it's called. You could even use rockets if that's your thing. Pick your weapon system, pick your poison, load it into that high slot, and just go crazy with it. You want to go for the highest damage output possible, because obviously the Venture has no support to it whatsoever. It doesn't have any damage bonuses, so you're not actually, whilst you're not tied to a weapon, you don't get the bonuses for any either, so pick freely. Whatever you have at its highest level, whatever's going to get you the best DPS against the target. I've got full skills in every single small weapon system, so it makes sense for me to go for the hybrids because blasters have the highest DPS. But if you just want to use rockets or autos or pulses, go for it. Whatever works for you. The final high slot, I've gone for a small energy Nosferatu 2. This is just to give us a little bit of extra capacitor. 3 minutes 20 is what I'm getting out of this. That's just to keep that armor repairer running if we need it. This could be something like a probe launcher if you want to be able to move around a bit more. There's all kinds of stuff you could put in here. I say rockets, actually, you've only got, well, you've got 0 high slots, so you can't do this with rockets. It does have to be turrets. But you could, like, mess around with this high slot as well and put in whatever you really fancy. But that's basically the fit. And that's all you do. Remember, do not move straight to the target. Warp in. If they don't flee automatically, move to an asteroid that's in their vicinity, and then hard turn at the last moment. Get into range, get the scram off first, then web them, then start to shoot and rip them apart, loot their cargo, and go laughing all the way back home with whatever you've mined out of the enemy ship. Now again, I'm not going to put a combat demonstration out of this. This is an active choice this time. This isn't me just, undocking and not finding anything. It's because I don't want to basically upset a lot of people before I make this video. I know this works. I've done it in the past. I just don't have footage of it. I would love to hear how you guys get on with this. Maybe you've lost a ship to a banana bomber like this. Maybe you've flown one of these in a while and you've got a fit that you think would be better. Let me know in the comment section down below, or come join the Catskull Discord. And again, if you do want to support content like this and me getting these messages out to new players and teaching other people how to have fun in new and exciting ways in EVE Online, if that's a mission you can get behind, come join my channel. Channel memberships are a great way to support me, give you a load of perks as well. It's as little as £2 a month, or £5 a month if you want to unlock the full suite of perks. That's badges next to your name, priority replies to your comments, exclusive access to videos before everyone else gets to see them. Hell yeah! That's what kind of thing you'll get if you decide you want to join the channel as a member. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching this one right the way through to the end. Good luck, happy mining out there, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.